Okay, so because I wanted to show off why you don't need world edit, like at all, like you don't need it. You can use what I call quick build, which I'll show you at the end of this video. I guess I just need to give context for a bunch of other commands. So I just decided to make an entire command fundamentals course in one video. So I'm going to start off with things that aren't actually commands first, but you need to know to understand them. The first thing is the GUI of the command block itself. You got this hover note, which is basically what you can name the command block. For instance, this one I'm going to put this kind of command in later, so I'm going to call it summon them when you leave if you want to easily, because they all look identified that you can easily just tell this one is summon. Impulse commands will execute it whenever the input is activated just one time. Chain will activate after another command block behind it pointing in the right direction is activated, and repeat will activate every frame. This one's pretty self-explanatory. An always active command will always be happening, but if it's impulse, obviously you would need to set it to repeat if you wanted it to always be happening. But just impulse, it will activate once. That's what the impulse is. And needs redstone means that you can use any kind of input, such as a button or maybe a redstone torch, putting next to it just to power it, like any other redstone component. So next you have the condition, unconditional. This is for chain command blocks. It's a little advanced, but basically it says, do you want me to do this if the last one was successful, or do you want me to do it no matter what? That's basically what that is. Delay on ticks, this one's pretty self-explanatory. If you have a repeat command, the delay in between each repeat, you can give it tons of, I think up to like, what is it, 4,000 ticks or something like that. It's going to correct. Oh no, you can give it up to 9999, which is going to take a lot. Then you also have execute on first tick. Once again, self-explanatory. You have a cancel button down here, which will cancel all changes made if you made an accidental change. And you have this to close it, which will save changes. This area over here is the console where you're actually going to be typing. If a command is too long and you can't see it anymore, you're going to have to press this plus button so you can see the entire console. And then this right here, if I just type in Gruluna and then activate the command block, it's going to tell me it doesn't know what that means. The syntax was incorrect. It didn't expect this word to be there because that doesn't make sense. So that's basically the GUI of the command block. That's how command blocks work. I'm going to move into the next section now. Alright, next up we have targets. So this is what exactly you want the command to be activated on. So for instance, okay, well I'm going to show you the 5 different types. At A, at E, at P, at R, and at S. So the at symbol can be typed by holding shift and then pressing the 2 button on your keyboard. That should enter an at symbol. So now what you're going to want to do is try to understand what each of these do. This at A means all players. So if we just do teleport, which is this basic command, I'll show that in depth later. At A, which will be all players online, and then we're just going to put in the coordinates of the spawn, which I will also explain later, and teleport there. And as you can see, no matter where we are, we'll get teleported there. If we do at E, it will teleport all entities here. So let's just quickly do this. And now, right now, there aren't any in the world. But let's say I were to summon a husk over here somewhere, or multiple husks. All the entities in the world, including players, will all get pulled to right here. The next one is at P. At P is the closest player. In a console like I'm typing here, it will always do the person who's typing it because they're the closest to them, obviously. But in other circumstances, it can be in like command blocks, it can actually be the closest player to the command block. Next up is at R. This will choose a random player. Now, right now, I'm the only one in the world, so it's always going to choose me. And then finally, we have at S. This one is self-executing, so this one's similar to at P because it will do whoever's typing the command. So TP me, myself, at self to the spawn coordinates. So that's basically targets. You can also type in a few more names, or things like, for instance, you can type in direct player names, like how my username is dvintel. So you can also type in player names. Next up, we have coordinates. Now, these are fairly self-explanatory, and I won't take too much time on them, but basically, every block has a position in the Minecraft world. Let's for instance say we wanted to change this block to stone, but not this one. How would we do that? Because we can't just say change all of the plank blocks to stone because we only want one of them. So we take the exact position of where this is, which I can just demonstrate here by doing a set block command. Once again, get into it later. Which right now the coordinates are -5 on the X, 4 on the Y, and 1 on the Z. And then we'll just do stone. And boom, that replaces that block with stone. So every area in the entire Minecraft world, it has coordinates. I'll zoom in on this part, right where they are on the top left. And the way you can show these is this command right here, /game_rule, all one word, show coordinates true. Okay, next up I'm going to go over a few basic commands. I have 3 main ones listed in here, and we're going to use the command blocks here to demonstrate. We have summon, TP, and set block. There are a few other ones that I might go over briefly. So let's just start with summon. So a summon command is always started with the command summon, or if you're in chat, /summon, and then you're going to type the tile name of whatever the entity is. So for instance, let's say for a husk, it's simply husk. You cannot put spaces, so if you want to do zombie villager, you wouldn't type this. You're actually going to instead replace that space with an underscore. But for right now, let's just do husks /summon husk, and then it's going to want coordinates for where we want. Now, you can do these special things called tildes, which are right in the top left below the escape button. When you hold shift, they'll appear if you click that key. And these are relative. So if we did it from 2 blocks to the to the positive x, so let's do -2 to the negative x-axis, do 6 blocks above it, which is positive y, and 2 blocks in the z-axis. So then all we gotta do is just press this command, and the husk will be summoned at those coordinates, which is right here. You can also just enter numbers. For instance, for spawn in a flat world, it's always going to be 0, 4, 0. So now as you can see right where spawn is, it will summon a husk. I'm just going to quickly show you. You can use the /kill command and then the target to kill whatever you want. I'm going to run it again here to kill the items, because items technically count as entities. So for instance, if I were to throw this on the ground and then run kill all entities, boom, gone. So that's basically the summon command. Teleport command or TP command, either syntax will work. You simply type /TP and then your target. So in this case, we're going to do dvintel. And then we're going to give the location, which we're once again just do spawn, or let's do spawn, but 20 blocks up. So then we're just going to simply press this button, and as you can see, it will teleport us 20 blocks up at spawn. So this one's fairly simple. There are a few other syntaxes you can do. For instance, you can teleport a target to a target, for instance, a husk. This little syntax right here with the square brackets is going to teleport you to the type of all entities that you want. So if we only have one husk in the world, it will successfully teleport us to said husk. No matter where the husk is, it will always teleport us to it. Another thing you can do in this area is type name equals, and then whatever their name tag value is, it will teleport you to that thing. So finally, we have the set block command. Now this one was showcased briefly. First, you're going to type in /setBlock. Then you're going to type in the coordinates. So for instance, we'll just do 0, 23, 0. So 19 blocks above spawn. And then we're going to do, let's say, just set this block to stone. Now, as you can see, nothing above spawn. Press this button. Now there's a block up there. If we go back to our to this specific teleport command, now we will be teleporting standing on that stone block. So the set block command is actually part of quick build, but it's not the easier things to do with quick build. So let's for instance, we can set it to almost any block. We can set it to netherrack. Just press the button and boom, now it is netherrack. So there's tons of different blocks. You can find them on multiple websites that have a full list of what all the blocks' exact name is. For instance, there is no such thing as, you cannot type cobblestone slab. You actually have to give a stone slab a value of, I think, 1. You press that button and teleport, and okay, well, actually, a value of 1 will give you a sandstone slab, but I don't have them all the values, the numbers memorized off the top of my head, but I have a lot of them, especially the wool colors. So those are all some basic commands. There's also another command I find super useful, but isn't really relative to quick build, the execute command. So I am going to go over this one. So /execute, and then your target, we're going to do @e, and then we're going to type in type equal husk. And then we're going to type in right where it's standing, so no numbers after the relative commands. And then we're going to do /summon, and because these count as entities, we're going to type in lightning, and you can just simply press tab to go to the first option and tab again to go to the next. You don't need to put the Minecraft here, but it does signify that you're not using a mod. And then simply enter, and wherever a husk is in the world, it will be zapped with lightning, because you're summoning a lightning bolt exactly on where the husk is, like you specified here. You can do any commands here, so you could do something like set block right there, stone. Now wherever the husk is, there will be a stone block now. And there are tons of different commands you can enter there that are all relatively self-explanatory. There are some more advanced commands with lists like play sound or game rule. There are tons of different game rules. You can you can find a list of these on websites as well. I might leave one in the description. Like, there's a ton of them. So we could just do, for instance, do daylight cycle and then turn it to false. And now, as you can see, moon's not moving at all. Clouds are, but that's just part of the pack that I'm using. So I'm just going to quickly use our new command knowledge to teleport back to spawn. Finally, we're going to address the quick build commands, which are clone and fill. Fill is what we're going to start off with because it's super useful. So to grab the coordinates in a block you're looking at, we're just going to do this in the console because commands, it's not too useful. We're just going to do fill, and then to grab this coordinate, which is the coordinate of the block we're looking at, we're going to press tab twice, tab twice, tab twice, and then we're going to press enter. So then we're going to go to the second location, and then do the exact same thing, tab twice, tab twice, tab twice, after pressing the up arrow to see your last command. My bad. Tab twice, tab twice, tab twice. And we'll do something interesting this time. Let's actually do diamond block. And we're just going to press enter. And as you can see, from the first coordinate to the final coordinate, it filled completely with diamond blocks. But let's say I made a cool pattern on these diamond blocks, and I want that to stay there, but I also want to change the diamond blocks into emerald blocks. Well, we're going to type in /fill those same coordinates. Remember, we can press the up arrow to go to our last command. We're going to give it a value of 0 because we don't want anything special. And then there are these special things. Destroy will make it as if a player broke the block, so the items and particles will spawn. Hollow, self-explanatory, any blocks inside will be deleted. Keep, this one's dumb. I don't recommend using it. Just it's dumb. It can be used in very specific circumstances, but just ignore it for now. Outline, this one's like hollow, but it will also keep any previous blocks from a different command inside. And finally, the one that I find myself using most often, replace. So we want to replace diamond block. So fill those coordinates with emerald blocks, but only replace diamond blocks. So we just press enter. As you can see, our little iron cross stayed there. And if we were to place, I don't know, just diamonds all around, and it doesn't have to be on the top layer, it will keep them anywhere, even somewhere in the middle like that. Just enter the command, and as you can see, or sorry, it replaces diamond blocks. So let's just iron. There we go. Let's try this again. As you can see, the iron block is still there. Now to destroy them, or you can just fill them with air, and I'm going to type in the destroy part so that you can see what that's like. As you can see, it is almost as if a player broke all the blocks, all the stuff drops, and then I'm just going to quickly kill at E to get rid of all the items. And that's the first aspect of quick build. It's a really useful. There are tons of different things you can do with it. It's super amazing for building. The next aspect of quick build is the clone command. Let's say I build something that I really like this, I don't know, random or generated chunk. I like it and I want to build it somewhere else, but I have already deleted the items out of my inventory, or I just don't want to spend the time on it. So then we're going to type in /clone, and then we're going to press tab twice, tab twice, tab twice to get those coordinates of the block we're looking at. Look at the other block, tab twice, tab twice, tab twice, and press enter again so that it saves. And then we're going to go over to, let's say, this block, and we're going to type in tilde, tilde, tilde to insinuate clone this area to where I'm standing right now. Just press enter, and boom, it will fill it in the positive X and Z directions, X, Y, and Z directions. So if you wanted it going that way, you would have to use a flip syntax or some other thing. That part's pretty advanced, but for now, all you need to know is that to clone it, you simply have to take the first coordinate, the second coordinate, and then enter the third coordinate of where you want it to end up. And that's basically just all of the aspects of the popular server plugin World Edit, but on any edition of the game. Yes, I am working on the Bedrock edition, but it also works on Java. It's really useful, and this means that you can do things that are like World Edit off server without a plugin. I find it incredibly useful, and I hope you will too.